With Python, you can potentially implement many additional methods to allow your objects to interact in specific ways. So in this case, we're looking at the contents of particle.py. This is a class that represents a particle with mass and velocity. And we have a _repr method, and that's the string representation method. So if you want to print out your object, that's the method Python's going to go to determine how to print that method. If this is a particle simulation and we're allowing particles to collide, we may have inelastic collisions. And in that case, momentum is conserved. The particles stick together, so the mass of the combined particle is just the sum of the masses that have collided, and the velocity is derived from the fact that the momentum is conserved. So what's happening here is if we go and start up Python and load this class, I can get an instance of a particle, and it has a certain mass and velocity, and I can do P1, and it will use that _repr method to print out a nice little representation of that. I can also get another instance of the particle, give it a mass and velocity, and because I've defined the add method, Python understands what to do if I try to add particles together. So this is now a valid operation, and P3 is a particle with mass 2.6, 1.4 plus 1.2, and then the velocity has been derived from conservation of momentum. So the key thing to remember about something like addition is that it does require two instances of a particle class. Because the addition method requires two instances of the particle class, there's special nomenclature for the arguments that this particular method takes. So remember that self is the special identifier for the reference to the object that is calling the method. And the convention is that the object to the left of the operator, to the left of the plus in this case, is the one that calls the method, but I also need the reference to the other method, the one to the right of the operator. And in this case, that becomes the second argument to the special _add method, and I've just chosen to name that other. You could name it right or something else like that. And then throughout the rest of my code for implementing this method, I either use self dot or other dot as appropriate to refer to the two different objects that are being added together. So if you go and implement something like add, the distinction really doesn't matter about what's on the left or right, but obviously if you do something like subtraction, you need to be much more careful about left versus right, because if you switch them up, you won't get the correct results. In general, if you want to implement the various special operators like add, subtract, etc., you would need to look up what the method should do in terms of, does it take particular arguments such that Python understands how to use that in conjunction with plus, multiplication, etc.